US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping shook hands repeatedly, walked together through one of Beijing's most iconic landmarks, praised each other publicly, and projected an atmosphere of calm diplomacy. But beneath the smiles and ceremonial warmth lay one of the world's most important and complicated rivalries. The meeting in Beijing came as at a sensitive moment for relations between the United States and China, the world's two largest economies and two most powerful geopolitical competitors. The two countries remain divided over trade, technology, military influence in Asia, the future of Taiwan, and control over critical resources used in modern industries. According to the New York Times, both leaders appear determined to present the summit as stable, respectful, and cooperative rather than confrontational. The carefully choreographed visuals from Beijing immediately attracted global attention. Trump and Xi met outside the Great Hall of the People, the state building near Tiananmen Square, where China hosts major political ceremonies and visiting world leaders. From there, the two men took a long walk through the Temple of Heaven, a famous imperial era complex built during the Ming Dynasty more than 500 years ago. Historically, Chinese emperors visited the site to perform ceremonies linked to prosperity and national harmony. The symbolism was deliberate. For China, hosting Trump at such an important historical occasion projected confidence, continuity, and civilizational prestige. For Trump, the visit offered an opportunity to present himself as a global dealmaker capable of managing tensions with China through personal diplomacy. And visually, the meeting looked remarkably friendly. Trump and Xi smiled frequently, chatted while walking side by side, and remained physically close during physical appearances. Trump was also seen touching Xi's arm several times in what experts described as gestures of warmth and familiarity. That stood in contrast to some of Trump's recent meetings with US allies, including tense exchanges with European leaders and a widely publicized confrontation with Ukraine's president earlier this year. According to the New York Times, body language experts noted that Xi also appeared careful not to let Trump dominate physically during handshakes, something observers have discussed in previous meetings between Trump and foreign leaders. Instead, both men appear to be carefully signaling mutual respect. Melaine Hart of the Atlantic Council, a Washington-based research organization focused on international affairs, told the New York Times that Trump appeared eager to establish personal chemistry with Xi. That impression was reinforced by Trump's comments throughout the summit. At an official state banquet later in the evening, Trump called Xi a great leader and said the relations between the United States and China would become better than ever before. He also suggested that despite past disagreements, both countries had always found ways to resolve problems. Those remarks were significant because relations between Washington and Beijing have deteriorated in recent years. The two countries have imposed tariffs on each other's goods, restricted access to advanced technology, and competed aggressively for influence across Asia, Africa, and global trade networks. One major area of dispute involves rare earth minerals, strategic materials used in products ranging from smartphones and electric vehicles to advanced military equipment. China dominates much of the global supply chain for these minerals, making them a major source of geopolitical leverage. Another major flashpoint is Taiwan. Taiwan is a self-governing island that China considers part of its territory. Beijing has repeatedly warned the United States against strengthening military or diplomatic ties with Taiwan, while Washington continues to support the island's defense capabilities. During the summit, Xi Jinping made clear that China's core positions had not changed. Unlike Trump's more enthusiastic tone, Xi's remarks were notably restrained and disciplined. According to the New York Times, Xi warned that the United States must handle the Taiwan issue with utmost caution, signaling that Beijing still views Taiwan as the most sensitive issue in the relationship. She also framed stable relations between the United States and China as essential for global peace and economic stability. The common interests between China and the United States outweigh the differences, she said, adding that stable ties between the two countries would benefit the world. That difference in tone reflected the contrasting political styles of two leaders. Trump's public appearances are often informal, highly personal, and performance driven. During the Beijing visit, he smiled broadly, applauded children waving Chinese and American flags, and frequently gestured towards the crowd and cameras. She, by contrast, remained more composed and reserved, following the carefully controlled style that has defined his leadership for more than a decade. Even the welcoming ceremony reflected this contrast. As the two leaders walked through the Temple of Heaven, accompanied by a military band, groups of schoolchildren waved flowers and flags while cheering enthusiastically. Trump responded energetically, clapping and smiling. She acknowledged the crowd with brief waves before returning to a more formal posture. But while the visuals suggested warmth, the actual priorities of both governments appeared very different. According to analysts quoted by the New York Times, the official summaries released afterwards by Washington and Beijing focused on entirely different issues. The American side emphasized economics, including Chinese investment, purchases of American energy products, market access for US companies, and cooperation against trafficking. Trump also brought American business executives with him to Beijing, underscoring his continued focus on trade and commercial agreements. China's official summary, however, focused more heavily on strategic stability, Taiwan, and managing long term geopolitical competition responsibly. The contrast revealed the deeper reality behind the summit. The United States and China are not becoming allies. Instead, both governments appear to be trying to prevent their rivalry from becoming uncontrollable. For Trump, the summit offered a chance to demonstrate leadership on the global stage while pursuing economic deals and presenting himself as capable of stabilizing relations with America's biggest competitor. For Xi, the meeting reinforced China's image as a disciplined global power while also publicly asserting Beijing's position on sovereignty.